Okay, so something huge is happening in finance right now, but it's not what you might think. It's not some crazy new investment theory. It's happening at a much deeper level, with the very tools people use to build financial models. A whole new generation of coding assistants is completely rewiring the daily grind for pretty much everyone, and tonight we're going to dig into exactly how.
This quote it nails it. The biggest problem in finance isn't a shortage of brilliant people. It's all the tedious, manual, repetitive stuff that slows those brilliant people down. That workflow friction. That's the real enemy, and that's what we're going to tackle.
All right, so let's dive right into this idea of finance's real bottleneck. It's the cost of all that friction. It's the daily grind that just sucks up time and brain power, stopping experts from focusing on what really matters, thinking strategically and actually finding an edge. Think about it. This friction is all those hours spent just wrestling with spreadsheets before the real work can even start. It's manually double-checking models or rebuilding that same performance report from scratch week after week. And here's the kicker. Every single one of those manual steps is a chance for a costly human error to sneak in. So you get stuck in this hamster wheel, right? You download the data, you clean the data, you run your models, and then guess what? You get to do it all over again next week. It's this incredibly inefficient loop that just burns through expertise that could be used for much, much more important work. But what if you could just shatter that cycle? And that right there is where the solution comes in, the modern coding assistant. The source material calls it an operational copilot. Now, to be really clear, we're not just talking about a fancy script here. Think of it more like a specialized platform that actually understands the world of finance. But there are a lot of misconceptions about what these things really are. And getting this distinction right is absolutely crucial. This isn't your basic autocomplete trying to guess the next word you type. No. We're talking about sophisticated systems that get financial logic. They aren't here to take anyone's job. They're designed to supercharge the expertise you already have by building it right into the system. Okay, so that's the big idea. But what does it actually look like day to day? How does it really change things on the ground? Let's get real and walk through a few before and after examples, starting with a role we all know, the portfolio analyst. So let's kick things off with portfolio analysis. Picture your typical analyst, right? They're juggling market data, running valuation models, putting together performance reports, all that core stuff. But the old way of doing it is just bogged down with all that friction we've been talking about. The difference is, well, it's night and day. Instead of spending your morning cleaning data, boom, it's structured automatically. Those scenario simulations that used to take up your entire afternoon, done in minutes. But listen, the real game changer here isn't just speed. It's the trust. The new way gives you complete reproducibility and a perfect audit trail for every single thing. All right, let's shift gears to another huge one, risk management. We all know that stress testing models can be a total beast. It's one of the most intensive tasks out there, and it's a place where if you get it wrong, well, the stakes are incredibly high. What we're seeing here is a fundamental change in philosophy, from being reactive to being proactive. It used to be that you'd find a flaw only after a model was already live, which is, terrifying. Now, the system is constantly running simulations in the background, flagging weird assumptions or wonky outcomes in real time, way before they have a chance to do any real damage. Okay, so what about the quants, the folks who are constantly cooking up and backtesting new investment strategies? Their world is all about experimentation, and let me tell you, that can get messy very, very quickly. Trying to keep track of 100 different versions of one strategy by hand? It's a nightmare. You're left wondering, wait, which one of those little tweaks led to that result? But with a structured, automated framework, it's a whole different ballgame. Quants can easily compare different versions, jump back to an old one if something breaks, and keep a spotless record of their work. It just brings some much-needed discipline to the whole R&D process. So yeah, it's faster, it's more efficient, we get it. But the real story here goes way deeper than that. This is about fundamentally rebuilding your entire operation to be more robust, more reliable, and just plain smarter, right from the ground up. Because once you start automating and structuring these workflows, all these other amazing benefits just pop up. Your models get more reliable, you can finally start chipping away at that old clunky code you've been stuck with, and you unlock two things that are absolute gold in finance: audibility and real-time intelligence. Let's just pause on audibility for a second, because this is a really big deal. In an industry this regulated, you have to be able to show your work. It's not optional. And with these new systems, when a regulator comes knocking, you're not scrambling for weeks trying to dig through old spreadsheets. You just Push a button, and you can show them the entire journey of a calculation, from start to finish. That is a massive operational advantage.
And it gets even better. Because these tools can plug right into live data feeds and APIs, your analysis stops being this static snapshot of the past. It becomes a live, breathing thing. Your models can update themselves the second a new earnings report drops. You're not just analyzing what happened yesterday, you're reacting to what's happening right now.
So, where does all this leave the actual people working in finance? Well, it means the job itself is changing. It's evolving into something new. And I really want to hammer this point home because it is so important. This is not a story about technology replacing people. It's about technology empowering them. It's about clearing out all that tedious junk so that smart people can focus on the truly strategic problems. So here's the bottom line. Winning in finance in the future, it's not going to be about who's the fastest spreadsheet jockey. The real competitive edge will go to whoever can design and build the smartest, most reliable analytical systems. The focus is shifting away from just doing the analysis to architecting the systems that do the analysis.
And that leaves us with a really provocative question to think about. This future isn't some far-off dream. It's already here. So the choice really becomes, are you going to be an analyst working inside the system, or are you going to be the architect who builds it?